Yep, I said it. I said it. I said it.
Excuse me while I love me. Excuse me while I love me.
Welcome to my channel. I am Ashanti B, and thank you for tuning in to me. Please hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you here. As you all can see by the topic, today we are talking about the top 3 things to self-discovery, to discovering who you are, who you have the potential to be, who you want to be. So let's kind of relax into this segment, because not that I'm nervous to talk about it, but I'm a little anxious, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna try not to mess with my hair or my shirt too much, because baby, the tatas, the girly girls keep wanting to pop out. Anyway, so talking about the top 3 things that I am currently utilizing to discover who I am in my self-discovery journey. I know the topic or the trend that I'm seeing is pretty much reinvent yourself. Everybody's like, oh, reinvent yourself. These are the things that you need to do to reinvent who you are. Well, I definitely want to reinvent who I am. However, in order for me to do so, I feel that the first step to reinvention is to discover who you are, which is what I'm on a journey. And of course, each phase of life, we learn about ourselves in different capacities. What we want, what we don't want, what we used to like, what we don't like. So things like that change as we pretty much discover who we are. So I feel like we're always reinventing who we are. Now, it may not be the old version of who you were. I will hope that we done evolved, little song. Because for me, I'm definitely not who I used to be. In a capacity where I used to accept certain things or deal with certain behaviors, or I used to act a certain way. Because truth be told, we always, I'm not going to say we, but I always hear where people are like, well, I don't accept this no more. I don't accept that anymore. But what is it that you are doing that you used to do, that people used to accept, that you had to take a step back and say, you know what? I don't like that part of me. You know what? I don't like making people feel like this about me. So I know in certain areas, I have grown tremendously. So right now in the phase that I'm in, we're definitely on a discovery journey, which is why my channel is Discovering Ashanti. Because I feel like we're all trying to figure out who we are in the space that we're in. And maybe the space that you're in is not the space that I'm in. So let's move forward and kind of rock this thing out together. We can help each other. So the first part of discovering the things that I'm doing, this is what I'm doing that I feel like has worked and is working for me. So the first thing is to reflect. And in my reflection phase, I literally have been journaling, okay? That has helped me so much, because at first I was pretty much just wondering, like, yeah, how you talk about something or something in your life happens, and I'm like, well, this happened, that happened, and I'm just saying it out loud. But once I started to write it down and let it resonate with me about how I felt in that moment, how this made me feel, I was able to kind of reflect on things that has happened to me in my past that has caused me to be the person I am, have the attitude that I have. Because truth be told, life experiences shape us into who we are. Even from a child, everybody's raised a certain type of way, which shapes who they are. They're brought up in certain households that shapes who they are. So when you sit back and reflect, as I have done over my life and kind of where I'm at, I'm like, dang, this really is because of this particular situation. So giving you a backstory. I feel like the backstory is important, and it's going to be brief. But my backstory is I've been a mother since I was 9. Well, I got pregnant at 19. And then I had my first child at 20. And then by the time I was 25, I had 4 kids. So that was a real quick, real fast, and in a hurry. Okay. I had 4 kids by the age of 25. I was in school. I was working 2 jobs. And I was trying to be a girlfriend. And not just a regular girlfriend like at my own house. I'm trying to be a live-in girlfriend, acting like a wife, right? So I'm trying to maintain the household. I'm working. I have 4 kids, and I'm 25 years old. That is a lot to endure or handle or try to even take on. You know, when you're 25, now that I'm 39, I look back like, dang, I really was trying to be all of that at such a young age. But neither here nor there. That's my past. That's my past, and that's my journey. I've also been in serious relationships. So all my life that I could think of when I started dating. So I was 15. I've been in serious relationships. 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. Married for 7. Dated him for, we were together for 10. You know, so I've been in nothing but serious relationships. Then I've been nothing but a parent. So as I did my reflecting and I'm journaling, I'm like, I'm trying to realize who I am, right? I'm like, what do I like? Honestly, I'm learning now. Like, now that my kids are older, in my reflective phase, I'm like, wow. Like, I really have put all my energy into them, like what my kids want, what they need as a mother. Me, I feel like that's what I had to do. Just that reflecting on how I was, what they want, their needs. I know all of their interests. My spouse at the time, my husband or ex-husband at the time, I put my energy into, you know, who he is, what he wants to do, what he likes, his dislikes, make sure the house is clean. You know, just being all things for everybody except Ashanti. So as I reflected, I'm like, okay, what movies do I like? What interests are my own that are just me? Not that I've adapted to from, you know, my kids like this. I'm like, oh, you know, that is a little, you know, something cool. I like that too. Or my spouse like to do, like, he likes to go to the bars, right? Like, he got me sitting at the bar at restaurants. And I mean, I like going to the bar now. It's cool. It doesn't bother me. I like it. But that was a thing that he introduced to me. It wasn't anything that I wanted to do on my own, if that makes sense. So now I'm saying, you know, in the reflecting phase, what is it that I want to do? What have I adapted from the behaviors of others that they introduced me to? You know, so that's kind of where I'm at in that particular light. So now I'm like, well, as I reflect, I don't really know who I am. And I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's good, and I don't know if it's bad, right? Because in the time and the space that I was in at that moment, it felt good. The moments were real. I enjoyed the moments, but they weren't moments that I would have probably wanted for myself, if that makes sense. So now I'm really sitting back in the reflecting phase to say, okay, this happened. This is where I am. And what do I do now? Which is why the journaling has been so important to me. Because it has allowed me to put my thoughts on paper and to be honest. Like, that's the part about journaling. When we start feeling those real emotions come out, we tend to like pull back. Well, I know I did at first. I was like, I don't know if I really want to write that down. You know what I'm saying? But no, I had to really write that down, because that's how I'm going to grow. If I'm not honest with me in my own journal, I can't be honest with me in my own journal. That's a problem. So I had to really, like, just the nitty gritty truth, write that down. Write down that I got a bad attitude. Write down that I don't like certain things. Write down that I missed out on certain things and it hurt my feelings. Write down that I feel like I let myself down in certain areas. And that's a part of the reflecting phase, because it starts to pierce my spirit, my soul, my feelings. It hurt. And I had to sit in that emotion. And that really, really helped me evolve, because I was being honest with me. I wasn't trying to be like a facade for somebody else. I wasn't trying to uphold an image for somebody else. I was being honest with Ashanti for the first time, instead of being all things for everybody else. I was being what I needed for me. So that reflecting phase is very, very important, and it's very much a phase where you need to be honest. If you cannot be honest in the reflecting phase, then you're not ready. Try again. Start over, because you're not ready, right? So next phase. Recognize. And, I thought the reflecting phase was hard. But recognizing means you have to really take ownership, right? So when you write in the reflective phase and being honest with yourself, you start to recognize things about yourself, right? So in this phase, it's kind of funny, but it's not, right? It's because when I started to sit back and recognize things about me, I'm like, ooh, ouch. Sting a little bit, you know? It hurt a little bit when I started to really, really think about certain areas of my life. Like, for example, okay, so if y'all on on YouTube, y'all probably see this on Instagram, where the lady where's this thing going around, and they say, would you date you? And she be like, I'll be outside with the boombox for me. You know, it's that type of little thing about, would you date you? And it's like a little cute thing that the women saying, and got their little pictures up, and like, I'll be outside with the boombox. And baby, in this recognizing phase, I was like, oh, I wouldn't date me. Yep, I said it, and I said it again. And when I mean I wouldn't date me, I wouldn't date me in the space that I'm in now. Meaning, once I reflected and wrote everything down and being honest with myself, I'm not ready to give anybody what it takes to be in a true healthy relationship, right? And that took a lot for me to even say for myself, because I feel like that's how I feel about me. And I ain't gotta say the words, because any woman already know when we be like, well, it's me. That's how I felt, right? But when I really sat down and really thought about this and recognized certain areas of my life that wasn't on point, no, I wouldn't date me. No, I would not be outside my house with a boom box. No, I'm not ready to be in a healthy, committed relationship, because I don't have the capacity to give what that takes right now. I am trying to learn me. I'm trying to evolve, and to recognize that, that's major. You know what I mean? Because we want to be all things for ourselves, and the baddest and the best and the this and the that. But when you sit down and reflect it and you really, really recognize where you are, nah, I'm not ready. And that's to give in a romantic relationship, right? Now, in the platonic relationship with friends, that's a different area. And I can be a good friend. I'm a good friend. Anybody's a friend with me, I'm a good friend. I feel like I'm a good friend. That I pride myself on being there for my friends. That's a thing for me. That, because my friends are my family. If you're my friend, you're like a family, and I'm there for you, right? So when I really recognize certain areas of my life in regards to the friendship relationships, I'm able to now say, you know what? I'm not able to give or listen to this today. I don't have the capacity or the mental space to even give an encouraging word right now, because I'm suffering. Whereas the old me, as I reflected on, I'm showing up for everybody. I'm at everybody gathering. I'm at everybody party. I'm at everybody's stuff. I don't got no money, but guess who showed up? Me spending their last $20. Me. And, you know, it was fun. And it wasn't cute, but it was fun. But now that I'm older, I'm learning, like, I can't be all things, all places, all the time if I don't have it monetarily, if I'm not there mentally, and it's okay. And that's the thing, it's okay. Because I used to think that it wasn't okay. And I'm recognizing now that it is okay to not have the money. It's okay not to be able to make everything. It's okay to say no to certain things. And as I recognize that, it's allowed me to grow and be a better friend. Because if I'm low and I'm lacking, I show up. And I'm always show up and just act like, everything is everything. Because I'm having a good time. That's who I am. But when I leave, I'm feeling low. I'm like depressed. And I feel like, well, ain't nobody check on me. And people know about my situation. But you came. But you showed up. But you had fun. So it can't be both ways. So I'm learning and recognizing that in those romantic and the platonic relationships that I have. Also physically, baby, let me tell you. Let me tell you, I recognize I can't eat what I used to eat. Let me tell you, I recognize that this weight don't fall off like that weight used to fall off. Okay. But I recognize that I gained a lot of weight during my divorce. I did. Yeah, I used to drink a fifth every day of Kettle One vodka. I did. Yeah, it was bad. And I recognized that I was an emotional eater. As I reflected when I was going through the divorce, I was just while I was going through, I'm like drinking and whatever, crying and all of that. But after the dust kind of settled in, I said, dang, I'm an emotional eater and drinker. Let's not forget the liquor. An emotional eater and drinker. Like, I literally drank and ate like every day. Like, it was bad. And I gained a lot of weight. And I recognized that because you know why? My clothes didn't fit. Clear indicator. And I wasn't buying a bigger size. I'm only going to get up to a certain size. And I ain't going to tell y'all what that size is. But no, I'm only going to get a certain size. And I was there. I was over. I was there and I was over. So I was like, yeah, girl, you got to do something about that. So working out, I've been going to the gym, getting my physical in order. I have been sitting back and recognizing what I want and need in my, friendships or my relationships that are platonic, as well as in romantic relationships, as they come and go right now, because they coming and going, they coming and going and going and coming. Nothing serious, because like I said, I'm not ready to give. I wouldn't date me right now. Why would I want somebody else to be, being serious? So I'm recognizing that. And it's okay. It's okay. Whereas I used to beat myself up so bad. And I'm learning to be patient with myself and speak highly of myself. And when I'm having down days, it's okay to be down. But as long as I get up. One thing about me, I'm going to cry. And I'm going to kick and fight and fuss and scream. But I'm going to boom, 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 boom. Or, players get up too. No, I'm joking. But I'm serious. I'm joking, but I'm serious. I learned how to dust it off and get up and keep going. It's okay to break down and have those moments. And going into my spiritual journey, right? So in my spiritual journey, during the pandemic, everybody was at home. So I recognized, like, I'm not going to church. I go at home, like watching TV, go at home like that. But I'm like, no, I need to be in the building, in fellowship. My kids, we grew up in church. I had them in church. Let me get back to the foundation and the root of the things that I know. So we have been going to church. We have been physically in the building. That has been a game changer in my life. When something is taken away and you don't like put it back in your schedule. You know what I mean? Put it back in your life like it used to be, especially something that important. I realize now the significance of that, which is why it's been such a game changer. We get up, we go to church on Sundays. I come home, our routines are different. I'm ready to cook dinner. I'm more, aware. Like, I don't know. It's been definitely something that I didn't realize that I needed. But in this space where I recognize that, I love that I definitely brought that back in as far as that physical presence in church. Like, I'm loving that my kids are active. Like, it's just been nothing but a game changer. Mentally, recognizing when my attitude is off. Because I can have an attitude and I can feel it. I can feel it when it's trying to come up. I'm like, why am I mad? Like, why do I have an attitude in this moment? And I'm recognizing that. Whereas first when I was younger and I had attitude pop off, whatever, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. You take it how you want to take it. It is what it is. And I'm going to keep on going about my day. But now I'm like, no. That's not right. And not saying I'm like nasty, but my point was my point. It was what it was, and however you took it, you took it. But now I'm like, that's not the way to be. Sometimes it's warranted. You know, I said I'm changing. I am discovering. That's a phase, right? So sometimes it is what it is. I'm going to say what I say. But I recognize now I'm more slow to speak. Whereas I used to be quick by the tongue, quick to say something. Now I'm more so slow to speak. I'm slow to react. I'm slow to respond. Because a reaction and a response is different. You know what I mean? Like I react differently. I respond verbally differently. I take my time to sit back and think on it first. You know, not all the time, but I notice it now. Whereas back then, like the older me, the younger me, which is in my old, life, I didn't recognize it. I just did. But now I'm recognizing things. I'm responding differently. My attitude is different. My mental, my spiritual, my physical, like my relationships. I'm recognizing where I can and can't show up, how I need to show up, how do I need to respond, and how I need to be available in those spaces. So this is a hard phase to be in. Like, it is hard because you know how people say, oh, you know how so-and-so is. They just who they are. That's just how they are. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want people to say, oh, you know how Shanti is. You know how she can be. No, I do not want that at all. I want to be in a space where I am evolving. I want to be in the space where they say, you used to act like this, but you don't act like that no more. You used to be this way and you're not that way anymore, in a positive tone where people can see the light, people can see the growth in me and who I'm becoming. So it's great to reinvent yourself. It's great to discover who you are, because along the journey of rediscovery, the reinvention will occur. And that's what I'm working on right now, is the rediscovery and the discovering of who Ashanti is. What do I like? What do I want to do? What is it that I'm interested in? Outside of my kids, outside of a man, outside of my friends. What do I want to do? And and how do I want to show up for me? How do I want to show up in a room of people that I love and care about? Right? So I'm very intentional right now. I'm very focused right now, which will bring me to our third point, is regroup. The regrouping phase of self-discovery is, how are you showing up? Once we've sat back, jotted down the things that we've, been through, once we've recognized, because you can write it and then be like, I'm going to keep that one and I'm going to toss that one out. No, recognize the good, the bad, the ugly. We all got the good, the bad, and the ugly in us. So after I've reflected, especially when I journaled and I just sat down and thought about the things, then I recognized how the things that have happened to me have caused me to show up in certain areas, and I've recognized them to the degree that I want to change them. Now I can dust myself off and regroup. I'm like, okay, let's go to work. That's where I'm at in the regrouping phase. Let's go to work, okay? And going to work is you don't have to jump out there, because I used to be that person. I used to jump out, man, running. Everything is 100. Everything is full speed ahead. Everything is all or nothing. And I'm learning that that's not the case. I don't have to be all or nothing. I don't have to do 100% and totally deplete. I don't have to go on a full-fledged diet and then dismiss everything. Like, that is a recipe for disaster. I've done it, and I failed, okay? I've done it, and failed. So now I'm taking it slow. Now I'm like, let's be consistent and let's do baby steps. Let's take it slow. Let's one thing at a time, one milestone at a time, one area at a time. When it comes to, like I said, my attitude, I'm slow to respond. When it comes to the physical, for me, I literally have cut back on the alcohol that I drink a lot. I was drinking a fifth a day. That is drastically dropped. I mean, I may drink twice a week, maybe, and that's maybe like 1 or 2 actual drinks. So cut back totally on the alcohol. When it comes to my mental, something that's stressing me out, I literally listen to motivation. So I turn on my YouTube. I listen to anything like the motivational speeches, Eric Thomas. I listen to the TD Jakes. I listen to anything that's like definitely motivating, get me going out of like certain funks if I'm in a mental state. Or I do it just to start my morning. Literally in my workout, my first 30 minutes on the bike, treadmill workout is literally motivation. No music. That's how I start my mornings. When it comes to my relationships right now, let me get the definition because I want to be accurate with this. Let me be accurate because this is important to me. So when it comes to the romantic relationships, you probably hear paper jiggling because I got my paper. But when it comes to romantic relationships, right, I was like, well, even platonic, but romantically for me. So being divorced, getting out there, dating, talking to people, trying to figure out, where the space is for me. And I, as a divorced person, you kind of sometimes think, what could have been different, what you could have done differently. Hopefully you think what you could have done differently and what, the other person did, that may have caused certain triggers, reactions, but also what you've done and that could cause them to have triggers and reactions. And what can we do differently? So I was trying to think, I'm like, I'm very much a submissive type of woman. I know some people probably don't want to hear that, but it is what it is. I'm very much not real submissive. I'm a little controlling. However, I'm fixing the plates. I'm like, babe, what you need? I'm laying your clothes out. I'm doing all of those things, right? Very much sit down, listen, talk, and compromising. And I'm like, so now I'm in a space. I'm like, okay, I need to be in a place where I can compromise in certain areas of dating, and not in a lower level, like beneath what I require. But you get older, certain things don't matter the same. And I was like, well, am I compromising in a certain situation or am I settling? Because, I talk to somebody I like a lot, I do. And that individual has been very honest about what they want. And I don't like what they want because I want what I want. But I also have to respect that, right? And with the individual has, made me aware, this is what it is, this is where I'm at, boom, boom. And I'm like, okay, in the beginning, I'm cool. I'm okay with being fun, right? Having fun, hanging out, whatever, because I was freshly divorced. But now, as I've evolved, I've been in the dating space for a little minute, your taste buds change and you want certain things. And the individual is like, yeah, nope, I'm fine here. I don't want to, do XYZ. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, well, am I asking for too much? Because I really don't want no relationship, but I want certain things. And I know I'm talking in code, y'all. It's okay. I'm talking in code. I am. But I'll do another video on that. But this is not the point as far as the details, but the overall is the point. So I'm saying, like, I want certain things, that person doesn't want certain things, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to compromise who I am for the sake of just being in something, right? And so I was like, am I compromising or am I settling? And this is where I'm regrouping it in this particular phase, because I looked up the definition of each. I'm like, is it a compromise or is it a settle? Me and my homegirls was talking, kind of going back and forth. So when you compromise, you're finding the middle ground between you and your partner's wishes. So there's a middle ground, right? This is what you want. This is what they want. We're going to be in the middle, the meeting of the minds. That's a compromise. When you settling is accepting less than you are worth or what you want or deserve. Now, in this particular situation, I had to say to myself, stop settling. You're settling. And when I went back and looked at when I wrote down, when I reflected, because my oldest son got his dad, my other three have their own dad and an ex-husband. Yep, it's a lot. It's my life. It is what it is. So I'm looking at the type of relationships, how they started, what I accepted, what I didn't want, but I still went with what I wasn't ready for and I agreed to. You know, there wasn't a compromise. I settled in certain areas. Not in all the areas, I'm not going to say that, but I'm saying in certain areas where I wasn't ready, I settled. In certain areas where what I didn't want, I still accepted or went along with. Like, I settled. I knew I deserved more and I allowed a person to be a certain way. Like, I settled. And now I'm like, no. Get yourself together. You are that you that gas, you that girl. I'm not settling. I'm not settling. I will compromise when the space requires for there to be a compromise. However, excuse me. Look at the devil, don't want me to get that out. I will compromise when the space requires for me to compromise. But when it comes to the things that I know I deserve, I know that I want, I'm not settling just to be in the company of another individual, just to be in the company of some homegirls, just to be in the company of a man, just to be part of the crew and the clique. No, I am worth more. I am much more. I just do, and I'm not settling anymore. Dead friendships that don't serve me, that we're hanging around, those are gone. It is what it is. I'm settling. And I'm not settling no more. I'm not settling for things that do not uplift me. I'm not settling for things that do not serve me, that do not make me feel good. Like, I'm just not doing it. And in my recognizing phase, now I'm regrouping. Now I'm like, girl, get up. You got this. This is what I want. This is what I'm doing. And I'm happy with that. Are things going to be hurt? Yes. Do things hurt? Yes. Is it emotional? Yes. It don't feel good all the time? Of course. But guess what? I'm going to push forward because this is what I want to do. I am now in a space. I'm definitely not neglecting my children. They're top 1, A1. Always check that box. However, my oldest is out of high school. He got his own thing going. My other 3, they in high school now. They're going to be out of school in the next 3 years. I will be an empty nester, and I've been mothering, and I've been fake wifing it, and I've been real wifing it for a very long time. And I have neglected myself. I have, and I'm going to say it, and it's just the truth. I've neglected myself in a lot of areas. And I am here to start a new journey, discover who I am, rediscover who I am, to reinvent myself into the person that I want to be. So that's all I have for today. Definitely thank you all so much for tuning in to me. Please leave a comment. Let me know if it's something that I said that helped you. Give me something that you've done that can help me, because I'm definitely discovering myself. I'm 1 year out of a divorce. I'm a new mom of a 18-year-old, finna be 19, out of school. You know, life is like doing its thing, you know. So I'm definitely here for what you all can, pour into me, is I definitely want to pour into you all. Thank you so much for choosing my channel. Thank you so much for choosing to stop by, choosing to stay. As y'all can hear, Memphis is doing his thing. That's my dog, keep barking. But thank y'all so much for choosing to come over here to my page. I'm your girl, Ashanti B, and thank you for tuning in to me. Until next time.